Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to break down a really fascinating clinical study that looks at improving our sleep just by using a special mat. Now, the official title is a bit of a mouthful, a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study on the improvement of sleep quality with earthing mat. But don't worry, we're going to unpack exactly what all that means and explore the incredible results. All right, so let's dive right in. The whole reason for this research is to tackle a huge problem that so many of us face every single day. And that's this idea that we have become fundamentally disconnected from the Earth itself, and that this disconnection could be seriously messing with our health, especially our sleep. And this image, well, it really says it all, doesn't it? Think about our modern lives. We live in houses that insulate us. We walk around in rubber-soled shoes. We've basically put up an electrical barrier between ourselves and the planet. This study suggests that this very disconnect might be linked to the rise in some serious health challenges, from a lack of good sleep to constant stress on our nervous systems. So all of this got researchers thinking. It led them to a really simple but kind of profound question. What if the key to our healing isn't in some complicated new pill, but is literally right there, just waiting for us, right underneath our feet? Okay, so that brings us to the proposed solution. It's a concept you may have heard of before, sometimes called earthing or grounding, and it's all based on the idea that the Earth itself has a natural healing energy. Here's the cool science behind it. The surface of the Earth has this natural negative electric charge. You can kind of think of our planet as this massive natural battery that's always running. So the theory of earthing is that when we make direct skin contact, like walking barefoot outside, our bodies can absorb some of the Earth's free electrons. This process could help to rebalance and stabilize all the little electrical systems inside our own bodies. We're basically just plugging ourselves back in. And this quote from the paper, this is really the scientific heart of the entire study. It drives home a key point. The Earth isn't just a bunch of dirt and rocks. It's a living, breathing electrical system with what they call a virtually infinite reservoir of electrons that are always being renewed. So it's a great theory for sure, but how do you actually prove it scientifically? How do you test if this connection has a real measurable effect on something like sleep? Well, to find out, the researchers designed a super rigorous experiment. They used the absolute gold standard for clinical trials. And what's really important here is just how seriously they took the science. The study was randomized, so a computer randomly assigned people to get either the real earthing mat or a fake one. And here's the crucial part. It was also double-blind. That means nobody knew who was using the real mat, not the people in the study, and not even the researchers handing out the mats. This is how you remove any bias or psychological influence from the results. This timeline walks us through the 38-day journey that every single person in the study went on. It all started on day 0 with a baseline check of their sleep and stress levels. Then, for 31 days, they slept for at least 6 hours every night on whichever mat they were given. After that, the researchers did a deep dive analysis, and they even followed up a week later to see if the effects would last. And get this, to measure the results, they didn't just ask people, hey, how do you feel? No way. They used 5 different internationally recognized scientific tools. They used things like an actigraph, which is like a really advanced watch that tracks your physical sleep time. And they also used standardized tests to measure things like insomnia severity, how sleepy people felt during the day, and their stress levels. It was a really complete picture. And that brings us to the moment we've all been waiting for. The results. After all of this careful, rigorous testing, what did the data actually show? Well, let me tell you, the findings were incredibly clear. Okay, let's start with how people felt. This graph shows the scores from the Insomnia Severity Index. Now, look at the black bars. That's the group that used the real earthing mat. You can see a huge drop in their reported insomnia symptoms between day 0 and day 31. But, subjective feelings are one thing. The researchers needed cold, hard physical proof. And here it is. This is probably the most powerful finding of the whole study. This is the objective data that came from those wearable sensors. It confirmed what the participants were feeling. After 30 days, the group that used the real earthing mat, that black bar again, had a highly significant increase in their total sleep time. They were objectively, physically sleeping more. This wasn't just a placebo effect. It was a real, measurable change in their bodies. So, after looking at all this data, what's the big takeaway? What does this all mean for us in our modern lives just trying to get a good night's rest? Well, it all boils down to this. The study provides some really compelling evidence that just physically reconnecting to the Earth's energy can lead to significant healing. As you can see here, people experienced less insomnia, lower psychological stress, they got measurably more sleep, and they felt less tired during the day. This points to a simple, non-pharmaceutical way to improve one of the most critical parts of our health, our sleep. If you found this breakdown of the research helpful and you want us to keep making more explainers on fascinating topics just like this one, please take a second to subscribe, like this, and turn on those notifications. Your support really does help us continue our work. And hey, if this topic really interests you, we absolutely encourage you to dive deeper and join the National Barefoot Walking Movement headquarters on Naver Cafe. It is a fantastic community for sharing information and learning from everyone's experiences. So we'll leave you with one final question to think about. In a world that's filled with so many complex health solutions, could the simple, ancient act of reconnecting to the Earth be a fundamental missing piece in our modern search for well-being? Thanks so much for watching.